Chat, if I were to ask you what the American dream was, what would you say? Because I believe, like, you know, in like the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, whatever, back then, back in the day, the American dream would have been something like, own a home, have a partner, like a wife and two kids. You know what I'm saying? Um, for women, it would be like the opposite. Obviously, have a husband and two kids. Um, but like, what has become of the American dream? You know what I'm saying? What do you think the American dream is now that we've gone through so much and we've changed so much? You know what I'm saying? The rise of feminism and women's sexual liberty, which is, just kind of help men's body counts go up. But I digress. Which it was really like a bonus for men, to be honest. But I digress. What do you think the American dream is now? What if I told you that we have a video here by Moon and it's titled how, well, prawn, since this is YouTube, became the American dream. How the birds and the bees became the American dream. Here, by Moon, links will be in the description below. How porn became the American dream. All right, you ready? Let's get it.
Today, there's no better way to become rich, famous, and celebrated in modern culture than by making porn videos. Look at the porn stars from days gone by. They mostly ended up dead, addicted to drugs, or washed up on the back streets in downtown LA somewhere. Now look at Mia Khalifa. She's a multi-millionaire who hosted shows with NBA legends, sat front row at Paris and Milan fashion weeks, modeled for Vivienne Westwood and Moschino, runs her own jewelry business, and has been interviewed by basically every major outlet on earth. She was a paralegal from a Lebanese family, and she didn't churn out film for years. She just claimed she made 11 of them over a few months. And within a few weeks of her debut, she was the #1 performer on the biggest adult site in the world.
Yeah, she made a lot of controversial corn. You know what I'm saying? And she got a lot of death threats apparently, and she got people talking, which obviously made it easier for her to like get noticed and make that much money with only a few videos in that short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? That's cool and all. I mean, that's probably the best way for her to do it now that she's out, but she's still stained. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you dip your toe in oil and then pull it back out right away. Your toe's still going to be covered in oil.
Where she received death threats, was shunned from her religion, and her family stopped speaking to her.
ISIS was after you?
I'm not allowed back in Lebanon. I was banned from the Middle East.
Which is crazy, because
No,
they're
it's
the
not.
ones who watch my videos the most.
Then she walked away from the industry forever.
Exit out, but if they do, obviously it's because of how controversial it is, and if something's controversial, people are going to be interested in seeing it, at least seeing what it's about.
After making just $12,000, or at least that's what she claimed.
You were paid a grand total of $12,000 US, and yet you made millions and millions of dollars for both Bang Bros, the company that you worked with, and Pornhub, the aggregating site. How could that be?
That's just how it is.
But between then and now, Mia Khalifa, like so many others, has used porn to become, in every sense of the word, famous. Not infamous, but legitimately famous, rubbing shoulders with A-listers and getting invited to their cocktail parties. Something huge happened in the world of adult content to create a pipeline to status and generational wealth. For Sarah Jo Chamoun, which is Mia's real name, she grew up right alongside the internet, and more specifically at a turning point for the sex industry.
I mean, I'm a kid who grew up playing World of Warcraft and using dial-up internet and fixing the computer at home when it broke. Like that was.
That's when you were your most coolest, your most awesome. You're like the best. That was the best version of yourself right there. I mean, who doesn't love being a nerd and just like nerding out when you're chilling? You know what I'm saying? Not have not have any worries, and you just focus on your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Playing games with your friends, hanging out, chilling, getting shit done. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't love that shit. Come on now.
Was my job because I was of that generation. So I think that I've always had a knack for what I like to consume online, which in turn influenced how I like to be online.
Adult content back then was an analog affair, driven by VHS tapes, magazines, and adult video stores. The money was limited and controlled by the gatekeepers. Performers like Mia got paid per scene, with no way to self-publish or go independent. And like so many others, she was pulled off the street in Miami by a random man who asked if she thought about modeling, suggesting she come down to a studio and take a look around. The studio was Bang Bros, one of the leading studios at the time.
It wasn't just, hey, do you want to come do porn? It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling? Oh, you know, you have a great body. Like, I think you'd be great in nude modeling.
As soon as they said that, you could just say no. You just be like, nah, I'm good. Oh, really? Thank you, but nah, I'm good. I'll just stick to regular modeling. When's the next gig? Can I, you know what I'm saying? Like what are we doing? Swimsuits, one pieces maybe. I don't know, but you know. And also, since we're doing one pieces, make sure it's got like a picture of Luffy or Sanji, you know what I'm saying, or Ula, you know, make sure it's got, one of my homies on there too. So, what's up? Anything else you need? Like, that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. That is it. Instead of being like, you want me to model naked? Sure. Oh, you want me to do video? Sure. Nah, you don't have to do all that. You can just stop it right there. You see where they're going and be like, oh, I'm good. But here's the thing with women. A lot of them will just be like, I'm gonna do it for the plot. Nigga.
Things like that. And after I came and toured the studio, you know, it was very respectable. It was a gorgeous location. It was in Miami, in Doral, Florida. It was clean. Everyone who worked there was nice. All of their cubicles were decorated with family photos. Like, it was nothing.
She signed the paperwork, came back the next day, filmed her first scene, and a month in, they put her in a hijab, which was incredibly controversial but decisive for her career. She told the studio that the video was going to get her killed.
I verbatim told them, you guys are gonna get me killed.
And you still did the video. You still did the video. You still did it. You still did the video. You're like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm gonna do it for the plot. And you still did the video. That's the thing. You still did the video. You guys are gonna get, oh my God, you guys are gonna get me killed. Let's record again. Can we do that last scene one more time? You still did the video. You still did the video.
They said
they wouldn't be able to put you in that position to get killed if you hadn't done the video. You still did the video.
They just laughed.
She did it anyway, and after it premiered,
She did it anyway. Like he said, she did it anyway. Yes, she still did the video.
avalanche started. Radical Islamic sympathizers hacked her Instagram and covered it in propaganda. They photoshopped a picture of her onto someone being beheaded. Her family disowned her.
They photoshopped a picture of me onto someone getting beheaded. And they said something along the lines of, you're next.
She quit less than a month later, but none of this blew over like she hoped it would, and she couldn't get back into regular employment.
I realized that I can never work a normal job again.
Bang Bros disputed her account of her career and her argument that they ripped her off. They eventually created a website dedicated to calling her out, called factsbeatfiction.co, pushing back on her claims and stating that they paid her over $178,000. They even said she filmed before with a different studio.
Take that money, invest it, live off the dividends. You don't have to work anymore. You're done. You are done. Just live a chill life. But I doubt it, because you don't want to go shopping and spend your money all the time. Especially since, well, if she is who she is now versus who she was when she was that nerd playing World of Warcraft.
Under the name Mia Callista before Bang Bros, and that her entire narrative was just a total lie. She claimed she walked away from adult content with her head held high, but adult content hadn't walked away from her. So naturally, there was only one way to climb back up the ladder, and OnlyFans took over the entire industry at that exact moment. When Mia joined OnlyFans in 2020, she framed it as a moral response to the Beirut port explosion that killed 218 people in her home country. She publicly pledged to donate the first $100,000 she made on the platform.
In 2020, I decided to join OnlyFans after the Beirut blast. I made the decision to join OnlyFans and donate. If I was able to make $100,000, I am donating $100,000, and that's why I'm joining this platform.
It doesn't take a very high level of skepticism to wonder whether that was true or just ethical positioning.
Ethical positioning, and so she could give a reason to the public that she wouldn't be getting more death threats and disownment from her family and all that disappointment. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, I'm doing this because I'm raising money for this cause. It's like, okay, sure. Once you make 100,000, you're gonna donate the 100,000. What about after that? Are you gonna quit, or are you gonna keep going and keep that money? Oh, you're gonna keep that money. You know what I'm saying? But she's like, but I did donate that 100,000.
But either way, it clearly worked out for her career. This is where Mia Khalifa became the bridge between two completely different worlds. The old world of adult content that chewed the old porn stars up and spat them out, leaving them in places like the tunnels under Las Vegas. And then there's the new world of adult content that makes celebrity entrepreneurs. Let's take Sophie Rain. In 2022, she was a 19-year-old waitress barely covering her bills. She didn't come from an adult entertainment background, but OnlyFans.
Who the fuck is Sophie Rain? Isn't she like the one that lies about the amount of money she makes? I think that's why I keep hearing about her. She's the one. Apparently, people keep saying she lied about how much money she makes.
Waitress barely covering her bills. She didn't come from an adult entertainment background, but OnlyFans was still her exit.
My sister was doing OnlyFans, and I was like, maybe I'll try it so I can get out of this serving job, because I was just.
Imagine you're her sister. You're doing OnlyFans, showing your goods for $5 a month. Was that less than a fucking combo at Popeyes or fucking what is it? What's that fucking not that. What's that burger place? Whatever. You're doing that for that much, and then your younger sister comes along or whatever. She does it. She ends up making like way more than you. I mean, that would just show that, like, the older you are, the less men see you.
Just serving. I was working literally every day, 9 to 5.
Restaurant?
It's called Papa Joe's. It was some Italian restaurant down in Tampa. But it was fun. Like, I loved it. I loved serving, but I just wasn't making money.
It all kicked off with her infamous Spider-Man video.
Every time I was like, no, it's not me. No, it's not me. They're like, no, you're lying. It is. So I just kind of ran with it.
It wasn't even her, but she made about $95 million in 3 years from a case of mistaken identity.
So in 3 years, how much have you made?
I think last time I checked, it was at $95 million.
Holy.
Here's what really happened. In September 2023, Sophie and her sister Sierra posted the Spider-Man themed photo set on their OnlyFans. Around the same time, another creator called Naomi, who happens to look like Sophie, filmed an explicit video in a skin-tight black Spider-Man suit. The internet saw.
So it wasn't her, but it was someone else. And she got famous off someone else doing that shit.
The photo set and the explicit video and conflated the two. Millions of men became convinced Sophie had secretly leaked hardcore content. She clocked that it was free traffic and started dressing up as Spider-Man on TikTok to deliberately stoke the rumor. There is no real Sophie Rain's Spider-Man video. The whole thing is a fantasy that lived in the minds of her audience. She also created scarcity around her content by describing herself as a virgin, though she backtracked on that a year later. I don't think people talk enough about how much these addictions can quietly affect your life, especially when it starts early in your life. It's one of those things that seems harmless at first, but over time it chips away at your focus, your discipline, and even your confidence. And the worst part is, most people try to fix it with willpower alone.
That's what it's called. That burger place nearby, Culver's. That's what I was talking about when I was saying, like, she's showing her body for less than a combo. Less than a combo at Culver's, that burger place.
Which almost never works long term. You just end up stuck in the same loop. And that's why I want to talk to you about this. There's content blockers out there like our sponsor Quitter, which is an app designed to make quitting porn a lot more practical. Instead of relying on willpower, you just turn on the content blocker and it blocks all porn content from even reaching your phone in the first place. So you're not constantly fighting the urge, you're just removing the trigger. Once it's on, you don't have to think about it as it just works in the background. And it also tracks your progress, which is a big part of it, as you can see your streak stay consistent and you're doing it alongside thousands of other people going through the same thing. One of their best features is the panic button. If you ever feel the urge, you just hit it and it immediately redirects you and helps you kill that urge in the moment, which is usually the hardest part.
I wonder what it shows you to help kill that urge in the moment. Like, what could it show you? Baby sheep? And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, okay, look, it's cute little animal. Urge gone immediately.
And it just handles it right there. If this is something you've been trying to get under control, this makes it a lot more structured. So make sure to hit the link in the description or pinned comment below, or scan the QR code on screen and download Quitter today. Use code MOON to try it out. Sophie said her content involves some level of nudity, which is probably understated, but she's definitely not out there doing what Bonnie Blue is doing.
Bonnie Blue is a fucking like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Epitomizes exactly what adult content has become, selling the fantasy of personal access to an attractive woman. Sophie now has 16 million Instagram followers.
Like, honestly, anybody that's still trying to hit Bonnie Blue, it's like, nigga, what kind of, like, you need to be studied, because, like, what kind of man are you? Like, out of curiosity, you need to be studied, man. What kind of man are you if you're still trying to smash Bonnie Blue? Like, what the fuck?
When she walks through a shopping mall in Miami, paparazzi camp outside to ask her about her rumored collab with Drake. The mansion she co-founded with 7 other OnlyFans creators was described in the mainstream press as the Gen Z version of the Playboy Mansion. She's constantly associated with big celebrity events. The industry has swallowed itself and given birth to something entirely new. A monetized intimacy economy where the content can be softer, the stigma lower, and the money exponentially bigger, all while the sexual acts are actually increasingly optional.
What the fuck are the guys paying for at that point?
It's curiosity, and then also
with that
like
specific person?
Yeah,
I guess, right? Yeah.
yeah, because you can sit there and have a conversation with me, you know, like you don't get that just from going on Instagram.
Mia got paid $12,000 for explicit permanent graphic content. Sophie got paid $1.4 million by one man for messages. That was back in 2025. It's over $6 million.
How much?
$4 million by
1.4 million by one guy for messages. Oh my god. That is disgusting. Bruh. What kind of bullshit is that? What the fuck? And women say they don't have it either. That life is so hard for them. Shut the fuck up.
one man for messages. That was back in 2025. It's over $6 million now.
I want to say last time I checked, it was like 1.4.
Wow. Wow.
But that was like, that's of all
My
time.
God.
That's of all time. And I've been doing this for going on 2 years now.
Who the fuck is this guy? That's got to be like a fucking Middle Eastern prince.
I can't say much, obviously, because I'm not going to air anyone's shit out.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy.
Rightly or wrongly, it still destroyed aspects of her social life. Her parents both got fired and she became their provider.
Right now, like I'm supportive.
I mean, lucky her parents, right? That's that timing though. But like, imagine, okay, it's cool that your kid, you know, is able to provide for you now, but what they're doing to make the money to provide for you, that would be the moral dilemma part. Oh man, if I was the dad, I would be like, I'd be so ashamed of myself, bro. Like I'd be like, I fucked up somewhere and I need to fix it now. Like I need to get back into this and start making money like immediately. Like I can no, bruh. What about you, Chad? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
supporting them completely. They both got fired from their jobs because of me. So I feel a little bit of.
Oh, they got fired because of her. So that he probably wouldn't be able to get another job because of her again. That is fucked up. You get fired from your job because they find out your daughter does porn or does sex work? Bruh. That's fucked up. Oh, I'd be pissed. Oh. And then she starts taking care of you instead. Oh. I'd be pissed even more. Hell, oh my god, hell nah.
Guilt in that, and like I feel like I need to provide for them also because my fault, I guess.
Sophie Rain built an
You guess. No, that's definitely all your fault.
empire on a video that never existed, but a couple of years before that, a young actress called Chloe Cherry ran the inverse strategy for the same result. She'd moved to Miami the week she turned 18 to do adult content, and spent the next few years becoming one of the most watched performers on Pornhub.
Bro, look at those fucking plastic ass lips. Ugh.
Then during lockdown, she filmed a pornographic parody of HBO's teen drama Euphoria. Not long after, the real creator of the genuine Euphoria emailed her asking her to audition for the show. She got the part, again proving how porn can scaffold women to a new path in life. Within months of her first episode airing, she'd walked New York and Milan Fashion Week, fronted a Versailles campaign, and starred in the music video for Charli XCX's 360. In just under a year, she went from being the most watched woman on a specific Pornhub category to being a face the fashion industry was actively competing for. This isn't entirely new.
Really? Competing for? She looked like a 6 at best. Okay.
20 years before OnlyFans existed, a young LA socialite proved that a leaked sex tape didn't have to end a woman's career. It could actually build one. That woman was Kim Kardashian, one of the most widely known names on the
Ray
planet.
J?
The promiscuity of people like herself and Paris Hilton was creating sex entrepreneurs without going through the porn industry. It was classier, more refined, and more marketable. The Kardashian tape was filmed with her then boyfriend Ray J in 2003. It went public in February 2007. And
got leaked, quote unquote.
time, an explicit video of a young woman with no particular fame or career wasn't viewed as the norm like it might be today. When these tapes leaked, they were massive news stories, and the entertainment industry was paying very close attention. Because somewhere in the media frenzy that followed, someone in a boardroom ran the calculations. And the math said that what happened to Kim Kardashian could be converted with the right packaging into one of the most lucrative television deals of the decade. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered 8 months later and propelled the whole family to the center of celebrity culture for nearly a decade. Today, Kim Kardashian's worth roughly $1.7 billion, and the tape that kicked it all off is a mere footnote in her CV.
Would you be where you are had there not been a sex tape?
No.
You know, I think that's how I was definitely introduced to the world. It was a negative way, so I felt like I really had to work 10 times harder to get people to see the real me.
She's quite honest about Impact, saying the worst part wasn't the humiliation itself, but having to explain the tape to her grandmother. She says she was grateful her father had died 4 years earlier and didn't live to see it.
I had to explain that to my grandmother. So I think I was more...
And you're most glad you didn't have to explain it to...
my father.
Which is basically a premonition of how many OnlyFans models feel today. OnlyFans relies on publicity and self-promotion. You can't easily shoot scenes under an alias and hide them as a double life. What Kim had inadvertently proved is that attention itself is the asset, and you need to market yourself as a person. Whatever generates the attention is almost secondary. The market logic of modern porn rewards whatever generates the most clicks, and everything else is downstream of that rule. Which is exactly why marketing stunts are getting more controversial and extreme. The Hall of Fame today looks more like an arms race where performers...
But speaking of extreme, I remember hearing that I think Bonnie Blue's next stunt was that she was going to like be in a public space and just be in a seat, like a plastic seat, not plastic, a glass see-through box and shit, and with holes that were in it, and she was just gonna, you know, thank fuck that shit was, the city said, hell nah. You're no, no. What the fuck?
Compete for a share of the audience's attention.
That's extreme. That's
like in
bullshit.
2019 when Belle Delphine sold jars of her own bath water for $35 each.
That's
she
nasty
faked
as
her own arrest with a photoshopped Metropolitan Police mugshot and briefly ran a account that turned out to be videos of 2 roosters. Her whole thing was just absurdist performance art dressed up as sex work, and it made her one of the most famous e-girls on the internet. In 2021, a 17-year-old called Bad Barbie, who had become briefly famous on Dr. Phil for telling the audience to catch her outside, teased her OnlyFans launch for weeks on Instagram. She then opened the account the day she turned 18 and made $1 million in 6 hours.
Bro,
Lil Tay would then follow in her footsteps years later. In May 2025, on Australia.
If you think about it, if she is releasing footage or like content the moment she turns 18, those pictures are probably from when she was underage, yo. And niggas and that shit's just getting bought up. That's nasty as fuck.
Australian creator called Annie Knight hired a swingers club on the Gold Coast and had sex with 583 men in 6 hours. She was then hospitalized with vaginal bleeding and posted the hospital photo to Instagram, captioned, "I guess 583 guys in a day isn't that good for your body."
That's nasty.
In October 2024, the 23-year-old British model called Lily Phillips invited 101 men into an Airbnb and had sex with all of them in a single day. She filmed it as a documentary. A clip of her crying afterwards, her friend's arm around her, got 200 million views in one tweet. She has then since faked a pregnancy, faked an arrest, filmed a classroom roleplay with 18-year-olds, and announced she'd be beating the existing world record by sleeping with 1,000 men in a day. And then of course there's Bonnie Blue, who took the record at 1,057 men in 12 hours. She also faked a pregnancy and will risk arrest, deportation, or practically anything to stay relevant. And somehow this has gotten her on the podcast circuit like all of these girls. These stunts echo the much wider trend across social media where AI slop and brain rot content dominate for their acute ability to hijack our dopamine. Mr. Beast, Sidemen, and others mastered that formula with escalating challenges that became more and more outrageous, leaving nothing off the table in the pursuit of attention. It's all pervasive, and adult entertainment naturally made a home in social media's algorithmic universe because ramping up the shock value is so easy when it's someone's body. Behind all of these stunts is usually an incredibly well-engineered business that proves how much porn has transformed. They have staff, a logistics operation, and marketing budgets rivaling tech startups. Probably the biggest weapon they have in their marketing arsenal is those who oppose them.
It's all the Karens sat at home that are going to complain about me being here that are making me rich because they make it blow up. And then when they're sat at home complaining about it to their, their husbands, they're then wanting to come and subscribe.
Putting their self-destructive elements of the lifestyle aside for a moment, they're savvy operators who understand the algorithm, the incentives, and the market better than anyone. Sophie Rain's instinct to leverage a video that wasn't even hers is annoyingly smart. Bonnie Blue will hang around any big influencer of the time, whether it be Andrew Tate or the Nelk Boys, as she knows doing so will keep the money pumping into her operation. Mia Khalifa found a way to make herself look innocent in front of mainstream audiences, and this is why culture had to stop ignoring them. Every magazine, podcast, and TV channel is starving for attention, and these women are sitting on more of it than anyone else in the room. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away, it just hands the traffic to whoever covers them instead. So the commercial decision becomes to platform them, like when Bonnie Blue said this on UK daytime TV when anyone could have been watching.
You're like a Premiership footballer. You're balls.
I mean, I work with balls, so it's the same
There we
thing.
go.
So barely legal, 18-year-olds. Because as I started my content, I realized it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of the girl next.
I hate that fucking I hate that shit. I'm just a girl. It gives them the ability to completely ultra instinct dodge all accountability. Like Matrix style. You know what I'm saying? You got bullets flying at the speed of sound, and they're just like, boom, boom, boom. I'm just a girl. Boom. I'm just a boom. You know what I'm saying? Accountability. Boom. Nope. Dodge. Accountability. Boom. Dodge. I'm just a girl. Bruh, oh my God. That shit is so fucking annoying. It's like, no. You're a grown-ass woman. You've made mistakes in the past, and apparently you're refusing to learn from them because you think that they're rewarding, and so you keep doing the same shit. You refuse to take accountability for your actions, even though you know where you have an idea of where it's leading you, but you don't care. Most of the time you're doing it for the plot. And you're like, well, at least I don't have to work at 9 to 5. And you feel like you're up there, you're this queen bee status that you can just look down on everybody else. Do you? You know what I'm saying? But eventually accountability comes. It comes knocking. You can only dodge it for so long. Enjoy it. Do you? When the wall comes, there's nowhere to run.
Next door vibes.
People commented things like, interviewing a prostitute at 10:35 a.m. is okay for family viewing? And how can they have this conversation on morning TV as if it's normal? Imagine if you were a kid watching that asking your parents who Bonnie Blue was, and what she meant by working with bulls or switching to barely 18-year-olds. But there is another side, far away from this very public layer, that we've not yet explored. Because while the conversation has spent the last decade arguing about whether those women are empowered or exploited, two-dimensional or sophisticated, victims or villains, the really smart ones are those who built the industry. You can almost certainly picture some of the girls in this video. You know what Mia looks like, you know what Kim looks like, you'd recognize Bonnie Blue in a supermarket.
I didn't know that was Kim.
These are some of the most visible people alive. The men who own the platforms they work on, however, are notoriously invisible. When Mia Khalifa was filming for Bang Bros in late 2014, Bang Bros was independent, but was soon rolled up into a vast internet empire backed by institutional cash and managed by faceless executives. The parent structure behind most of her distribution was a Canadian-operated conglomerate called MindGeek, which owned Pornhub, RedTube, Brazzers, and several hundred other sites, all controlled through a network of shell companies across the world. One of its recent owners, a guy called Bernd Bergmair, wasn't known to the media or photographed in public until recently. MindGeek wasn't just built for the love of the game, it was backed with nearly $500 million from JP Morgan Chase among other major investors, and weirdly, even Cornell University. The same institutional capital that owns stakes in Meta, ByteDance, and Google is also indirectly exposed to the adult platforms and the companies that profit from them, which means ordinary people's retirements are, in very small and very diffuse ways, invested in the same economy that Bonnie Blue is helping to expand. OnlyFans is the next level, springing out of the studios and making the girls do most, if not all, of the legwork. And when you look at what OnlyFans really is, it looks exactly like Amazon, Fiverr, or DoorDash. Thousands of near identical thumbnails of near identical women doing near identical poses, all fighting for the same attention, all undercutting each other on price, all promising more than the last one. It personifies the direction of today's tech industry. It's the gig economy with sex as the product, using a subscription model backed by viral marketing. On the top layer, the man who owned OnlyFans until his death in March was worth $4.7 billion. On the bottom layer, for every Sophie Rain, roughly 10,000 women upload content nobody is paying for, subsidizing the traffic that makes Sophie Rain possible, while the platform takes a big cut, routes it through a holding company, and into a private equity deal being negotiated in Silicon Valley, all to completely our entire society and do untold damage to our culture because of this. What has been labeled as empowerment really involves giving someone on OnlyFans the ability to negotiate the terms of her own exploitation, take home a larger cut of it, and then call the result a business, which on the individual level looks like a meaningful improvement versus Mia Khalifa's situation in 2014. On the collective level, it's built the most efficient content extraction machine in the history of the internet. Millions of women competing against each other, producing an unlimited library of material for a platform they don't own in exchange for a wage that, for most of them, works out to be less than minimum wage. The thing the industry figured out somewhere around 2016 is that you don't need to exploit anyone if you can get them to exploit themselves. You just need to build the infrastructure, take a cut of the door, and let the market do the rest. And those who become mainstream celebrities using as a gateway to something more create something to aspire to, even though most will never make it.
Isn't like the
I've covered Gamergate.
Isn't the statistics that something like 90 or there's a good percentage of women on OF that only make like $100 a month and or less. So like the majority of women on OF don't make shit. It's just like the top 1 or 10 less or 10% that make the most money, and they're obviously the ones that the only ones you see shit about or being talked about and shit, which just kind of feeds into the machine of getting people to continue to go into OF. But anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I'm out. Peace and much love to you.